I'd like to welcome everybody to the City Design Review Board. I'd like to go ahead and call our meeting to order today. We all were emailed and mailed our minutes from last month's meeting. Did everybody have a chance to review those? Any corrections? Any amendments? If not, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Guys, our first case for hearing today is case DRB 2024-20. It's an information regarding the plan to demolish the building located at 601 Gregg Avenue and replace it with a new medical education facility for Francis Marion University, identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90074-01-001 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District. Staff?
Good afternoon. It's nice to see some of you all. It's been a little while. Yeah, I know it doesn't match quite with the agenda you have, but the applicants are here and they've requested to be moved to the front since this is a matter of information only. This is the old Circle School at the corner of, or the intersection of Gregg Avenue, King Avenue, Cooker Street, and Chevis Street. And Francis Marion University has purchased the building and they are planning to demolish it and replace it with a new building to be part of their medical education facility. There's a chair over here. It is zoned, it's in the redevelopment overlay district, and it is zoned central business district. This is photos of the current building. I was not able to find out exactly what year it was built because it's a nonprofit. There's no information online about it. I would guess, Scott, do you know what year it was built by chance?
21.
21? That's what I was saying, was the early 20s probably. The Historical Commission has been notified about the request to demolish, and they have not issued any resistance to that, any objection to that. These are elevations of the new building that will be replacing it. As you can see, they're mimicking the original building in scale and some of the articulation with the windows and the style, and then just adding a little bit more to it. They're planning to put a fountain out front and just making it pedestrian friendly, having some green space. Portion of it will be 3 stories tall, portion of it will be 2, I believe. And then the parking will be in the rear, as is appropriate for the central business district. So that concludes staff's report.
I did want to add that although the existing building is being demolished, the university in their design is making every effort to kind of to mimic the footprint, the heights, and even, the flat roof and a lot of the design elements of the building. Although it won't look exactly the same, it does look like what a more modern rendition of this building would look like. They were unable to utilize the existing building to remodel it for their needs. So, this new design, pays homage to the old design, and by keeping the same footprint, the same overall space and size of the building. So visually, when you ride through this area, it'll have the same scale, the same colors, and similar appearance as the existing building. So I did want to note those items. And we do have staff or developers or representatives from FMU and the design team present if there were any further questions.
I would like to say I was on the board of directors for Florence County Commission on Alcohol and Drug Abuse that sold the building to Francis Marion. I was also involved as the brokers of the building. I don't have anything to do with it now, but I was involved.
Okay. Yeah, and the board doesn't have to render a decision on this. It is a government project over $1 million, so it falls on staff to do the review. And we've been working with representatives from FMU and the design team throughout the process, and working this through. And we're waiting. We wanted to present it. We're in the final stages, nearing approval, and we wanted to present it to the board for information in case there were any questions or concerns.
Scott, I understand the substructure of that building is made of wood, and that really limits what you can do with it.
It does. It does. you could not build that building today in its present configuration. Yeah. It would be very limiting. So it really gives it a chance to again harken back to the original building, but put it in the future as far as its functionality.
Like I said, it just goes on that. It's just
That's true. If there's any questions of staff or, okay, well, I think it's going to be a nice addition on Chevis Street, so I'm looking forward to that. Our second case today is case DRB 2024-09. It's a request to amend the certificate of appropriateness for a wall sign to be located at 184 West Evans Street, specifically identified at Florence County Tax Map Number 90168-02-027 in the H1 Historic Overlay District. Staff?
Good afternoon. Back in, I think it was June, y'all approved or looked at the sign proposal for the Smile and Scoops Ice Cream Shop, and at that time turned it down because it was internally lit and had a flat surface. So the owner has, or the applicant has come back with a new proposal, and again, this is Smile and Scoops on the corner of Evans and Irby Street, also zoned Central Business District in the H1 Historic Overlay District. This is the proposed sign. It will have some dimensionality. He's going to have the letters that say Scoops will be raised slightly from the surface of the sign. The letters for ice cream, candy, and more will also be raised and separate, so they'll be a little bit dimensional as well. So that met that requirement. And then the idea for lighting it will be similar to, it'd be kind of a halo effect, I guess, kind of like the Hope Health sign being lit from behind, like these acrylic signs at the fitness center. And so that's what the lighting image will be like. So it does meet for the dimensionality, and since it is going to be still internally lit, it did need to be brought back towards you, or before you. So, but everything else about it does meet the design guidelines. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions of staff? Anyone here to speak on the matter? Okay, we'll go ahead and close it and open it up for discussion or motion.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
All in favor? Okay, certificate to be issued. Congratulations. Our third case today is case DRB 2024-19. It's a request to amend the certificate of appropriateness to construct a six-unit on a townhome at 189 Worley Street, identified at Florence County Tax Map Number 90074-03-012 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District. Staff?
All right, this is also another, bringing back a case that was before you back in, I think it was June, when you approved the design of the townhouses to be built on the corner of Worley and West Chevis. And the applicant is seeking to add a sixth unit to the row of 5 units. Planning Commission approved the subdivision of the property last night at part of their sketch plan review. And again, here it is on the corner of Worley and Chevis, just up the street from the Francis Marion building. Zone Central Business District, which is critical because no off-street parking is required. There were some concerns by the Planning Commission about parking, and they were satisfied with the amount of on-street parking in the immediate vicinity. The new townhouses will be clad in brick and hardy board. They'll be characterized by distinctive articulation of windows and doors as required. They will be a little bit, adding the sixth unit does make it, the lots slightly smaller, and will have a pretty much zero setback on the Worley Street side, which is permitted in the Central Business District. But that would need to be part of your motion to approve that side setback. So this is the new plat showing the 6 units, and then this is the front elevation showing all 6 units as well. And then just to help you to picture that, this is what they look like. These are being built off Celebration Boulevard. And so this is 5 units, and just picture one more on the end. And that's what they will look like when they're constructed. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay, anyone have any questions of staff? Anyone here to speak on the matter? Not, we'll go ahead and close the public and open up the case for discussion.
I'm sorry to have one question. The parking, and I think, I understand it's not required. Just curious, isn't there going to be a eventual reconfiguration of that street of Chevis?
Yes, they, part of the penny sales tax, and we counted out yesterday that there would be 18 parking spaces in that block alone on street, plus there will be 7 off-site or off-street parking spaces as well.
So that actually increases the kind of the available parking over what's there now, or at least,
That's right.
'cause it almost seems like nobody ever parks on that street now. It's almost like it's like you're parking in a driving lane.
It does. Right now, they're not marked or designated
Right.
parks, even though it is allowed on the side of the street. It very much feels like you're parking in a lane of traffic.
Right.
But with the new configuration of the street, there'll be some, landscape medians or landscape curb areas, and the parks, parallel parks will actually be designated
Right.
in those areas. So it'll be a much cleaner design that facilitates parking, bike lanes, and 2 lanes of traffic as you're approaching the Circle Park School.
Right. Thank you.
Is there parking on the rear, or is that garage?
That's parking on the side there.
On the rear, behind the facilities?
Well, since the townhomes will be facing Chevis Street, it would be to the left.
Okay.
But yes, there are 5, and then 2 parallel parks right there.
But not on the back, that's not parking.
And that'll be like yard space or fenced in.
That's correct.
Outdoor space.
Yeah.
Motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, the certificate will be issued. Our 4th case today is case DRB 2024-21. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to alter the exterior of the building located at 600 West Palmetto Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90062-16-005 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District.
Mr. Chair, I am on the advisory board for Synovus, and so I'd like to recuse myself.
Okay, Mr. McMillan is recused.
If I can get involved in anything else, I'll just get off the board, I guess.
We won't vote on that today. Staff?
The hazards of meeting qualifications. Yes, this applicant is seeking the certificate of appropriateness to wrap some of the architectural details of the commercial building. It is the Synovus Bank building, and it's located in the redevelopment overlay district. The building is zoned commercial reuse as well, the parcel. This was kind of unusual. I learned a little bit about this. Apparently, it's becoming more and more popular to encase wood and trim in aluminum or other metals rather than painting them. And they have already begun. They've done a couple of columns and I think a couple of the windows already before we noticed, or somebody noticed what they were doing and brought them before y'all. So their proposal involves encasing existing windows and trim and columns with white aluminum to protect it from further deterioration. Apparently this is a common capping technique to preserve original woodwork by encasing it in aluminum sheeting rather than just repairing it and painting it. But they said they will be preserving all of the architectural details, and it will be white, the same color as the paint on all the trim work. And it is to be protective and prevent further deterioration. And this These are some pictures of work they've already done. As you can see, the columns are already covered up and these windows. And then here's some photos of the building itself. And they said that all of the trim work would be covered, so that includes the trim around the roof line and through the middle there, as well as the windows and doors. So these are, again, some photos of how it stands now. So that concludes staff's report.
Anyone have any questions of staff? Anyone here to speak on the matter? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close and open up the hearing for a motion or discussion.
So at the very top of the roof line, are you able to preserve the little fine molding?
I asked them if they were going to cover those individually, and he said they were.
I ride by this building every day between my house and Montessori school, and it was looking rough, and what they're doing looks a lot better. So I don't know if it's something about the weather in that area or something, but that building, and it's an older building. I remember it as a kid. So
It's always had trouble. I think that north side really struggles, and that's the side that faces the street more than anything. And yeah, I know traditionally over the years, they've spent a lot of money trying to maintain what they do have.
The building does look better there.
a lot better.
Make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second. All in favor? The certificate will be issued. Okay, our next case is case DRB 2024-22. Is a request for a certificate of appropriateness for a wall sign on the building located at 605 Irby Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90088-07-018 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District. Staff?
All right. This lot is zoned Activity Center, which does permit 2 wall signs with a combined area of up to 25% of the front facade. There are wall signs identifying the Well Center Pharmacy both on the north and east walls of the building. This requested sign makes a second wall sign on the east wall, but you do have the authority to allow a second wall sign. And additionally, 1 wall sign is permitted per tenant. And even though this isn't a building that looks like it's got separate tenants, apparently this new business is going to be a tenant inside a sub business to the pharmacy. So it could be considered a tenant sign. It is on the corner of West Cedar Street and South Irby Street, and used to be a bank, and it is zoned Activity Center, which is basically a general commercial, so it does meet that. This is the sign. They did already put it up before, again, we caught them and pointed out that they needed to get a COA for it. So you all approved the Well Center Pharmacy signs a couple of years ago, so they're just adding this one onto it. And it meets it for size, but it's a flat sign as well, and it's not illuminated in any way. So that concludes staff's report.
Okay, anyone have any questions of staff? Anyone here to speak on the matter? Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or a motion. It is common for a pharmacy to have 2 or 3 businesses inside of it, though. You see that often.
I make a motion to approve as submitted.
Mr. Collins has a motion. All in favor? Okay. Certificate will be issued. Our last case to hear today is case DRB 2024-23. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness to alter the exterior of the building located at 102 to 120 Worley Street, identified as Florence County Tax Map Number 90074-04-033 and 036 and 040 in the D1 Redevelopment Overlay District. Staff?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. So the applicant is seeking a certificate of appropriateness to alter the exterior of the townhouses located at 102 to 120 Worley Street. This is in the redevelopment overlay district. Here's an overhead view. This is at the corner of West Evans Street and Worley Street. This is in the commercial reuse zoning district. So here is a picture of the front. This is 6 townhomes. Originally, this was built in 1930. It's 7,500 square feet. We have previously given administrative approval to do stucco repair and painting, and also I believe the roof was redone. This one kind of goes beyond that scope of work, where this one they're talking about doing some demolition behind the building, getting rid of a storage room and rebuilding it back as a half bath / laundry room. So that's kind of where it needs to go to the board for approval. So they're currently doing interior renovations. This COA request is for repair and painting of the existing stucco, demolition of the storage room, and then reconstruction to the exact same footprint. Painting and replacement of any rotten wood they find on the front porches, around windows, and replacing broken glass where needed. Right now, they're having trouble with trespassing and deterioration of the building, so they're trying to shore that up. So here's the rear facade. You can see currently the storage room is a vinyl exterior. When they reconstruct it, they want the entire building to be the stucco. So they're going to repair it stucco, get rid of the vinyl siding so it'll have a uniformity about it. And then they want to paint it back with a Sherwin-Williams color, antler velvet, which is sort of a sandy tan color, which we'll see a little bit later. So here's the rear facade. What's going to be demoed. The windows all have the aluminum, so wherever possible they'll just replace the glass. The contractor, as well as the applicant, has shown a willingness to work with staff to replace like for like material. So the biggest thing about this request is the demolition and reconstruction. Once we get into those figures cash-wise, it's not something that city staff can approve. So here's the elevations currently, and this is what they hope to do in the future. Everything will be as is, besides everything being the stucco exterior for uniformity. So here is actually where the existing storage building will be demolished and reconstructed, and you can see here they'll have the half bath and then the stackable washer dryer. So instead of being a storage room, it will be a mud room, a place for the residents to access, come inside, shower, do laundry. And here's the color of the exterior, antler velvet. So that does conclude staff's report.
Anyone have any questions of staff?
I do. Does the is the appendage that's going to house this addition, is it mirror the storage room footprint?
It does. We've been assured by the engineer in letter form that it would be exactly the same dimensions.
Similarly, the same roof line?
Exactly, yeah. Just like for like as much as possible, except for the stucco exterior instead of the siding.
I just have 2 questions. With the roof line, what's that shingle material? It's like the stuff that you see in Florida.
Yeah, the terracotta looking shingles,
yeah.
right. But I think that's just sort of a facade, and I think they actually did a TPO type roof a few years ago. TPO, yeah. So you're still keeping the terracotta visible from the street, but on top of the roof it's TPO.
Gotcha. And then the concrete pad that's on the rear of the building, is that going to be for parking, or is that going to remain? Or?
Okay. Any other questions of staff? Anybody here to speak on the matter? You've already spoke a couple times, we appreciate it. Okay, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or motion. think it's going to look nice with both sides matching, so. Certificate to be issued, congratulations.
Thank you.
Jerry, do we have an update on the design guidelines?
Yeah, right now our goal is to have, we have a draft in hand that we're looking at. We're actually meeting with them tomorrow, and we should have, Elaine, when's the steering committee?
December 4th, we're meeting the steering committee, and then the 11th, we'll bring it to y'all.
Yep, so we should have a draft to present to you by the next meeting. So that's good, and then we could hopefully move forward with adoption of it through the process.
Okay, well, I appreciate all y'all's time and effort on it.
Same with y'all.
Anyone have any questions of staff? Staff, any questions of us? If not, we are adjourned. We'll see you on December 11th at 2 p.m.
This is my Christmas card slash catalog.
Thank you. And whoever does your social media, tell them thank you for adding us to your shop, Florence. Thank you
Figure
for
we all got it. It's harder to be
Good
thinking
job,
of.
Mr. Chairman.
Appreciate it.